Let me tell you something that most traders completely misunderstand. And it's the reason they never become consistent. They think winning more trades is the key to making money. They believe that if they can just increase their win rate, everything else will fall into place. But that is not how trading works. Most traders are obsessed with being right. They want every trade to validate them. They want the market to confirm that they made the correct decision. And when it doesn't, they take it personally. They feel frustrated. They feel confused. They start questioning everything. But here is the truth. The market does not reward you for being right. It rewards you for thinking in probabilities. Let me explain what that means. When you take a trade, you are not predicting the future. You are not saying this trade must win. You are simply saying that based on your edge, this trade has a higher probability of working out over a series of trades. That is it. Nothing more. But most traders don't actually believe this. Not emotionally. They might understand it intellectually. But when real money is on the line, they expect the trade to work. And that expectation is where everything starts to break. Because the moment you expect a trade to win, you become attached to the outcome. And when you are attached to the outcome, you lose your ability to think objectively. Let me show you how this plays out. You enter a trade. It looks perfect. It matches your setup. Everything aligns. And in your mind, this trade should work. It has to work. But then the market moves against you. At first, it's small. You tell yourself it's normal, just a pullback, nothing to worry about. But as it continues, something shifts inside you. You start to feel uncomfortable. Your thoughts change. Maybe I entered too early. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I should close now before it gets worse. This is not analysis anymore. This is fear. And fear comes from expectation being violated. If you truly believe that any individual trade could lose, this movement wouldn't affect you. It would just be part of the game. But because you expected it to win, you feel threatened. So what do? You interfere. You close early. You move your stop. You hesitate on the next trade. You try to avoid the pain of being wrong. And without realizing it, you destroy your edge. Here is something that will change how you see trading forever. You don't need to win more trades to make more money. Let that sink in. You don't need to be right more often. You need to be consistent in how you execute your edge. Because trading is not about individual outcomes. It is about a series of outcomes. Think about a casino. The casino does not care about any single bet. It knows that over hundreds, thousands of bets, the probabilities will play out in its favor. That is why it always wins. Not because it wins every time, but because it plays the game consistently. Professional traders think the same way. They don't care if this trade wins or loses. They don't need to be right on this trade. They only care about executing their system over and over again without interference. Because they understand something most traders don't. Consistency in execution creates consistency in results. But here is the problem. Most traders are focused on avoiding losses. They see losses as failure, as something to be eliminated, something to be feared. And because of that, they try to control the outcome of each trade. They tighten stops too much. They exit early. They skip valid setups after a loss. They overtrade to recover. And all of this comes from one belief. I need this trade to win. But that belief is what keeps you stuck. Because the moment you need a trade to win, you are no longer trading probabilities. You are trading emotions. Let me ask you something. What would happen if you truly accepted that losses are part of the game? Not just said it, but actually believed it? What if you approached every trade with the mindset that it could lose? And that's perfectly fine. Something interesting happens. You stop reacting. You stop trying to control every movement. You stop making emotional decisions. You stop needing to be right. And in that state, you start executing cleanly. You take your setups without hesitation. You place your stops where they belong. You let your winners run. You accept your losses without resistance. This is what Mark Douglas meant when he said you need to think in probabilities. It's not just a concept, it's a mental state. A state where you are completely detached from individual outcomes. A state where you trust your edge over a series of trades. A state where you are no longer afraid of being wrong, because being wrong doesn't matter anymore. Now here is the paradox. The moment you stop trying to win every trade is the moment you start becoming profitable. Because you remove the emotional interference that was sabotaging your performance. You stop cutting winners early. You stop holding losers too long. You stop hesitating. You stop overtrading. You simply execute. And over time, that execution compounds. Let me make this very clear. Your goal is not to win more trades. Your goal is to execute better trades. Trades that follow your rules. Trades that respect your risk. Trades that align with your edge. Because if you can do that consistently, the results will take care of themselves. You don't need to chase wins. You need to eliminate emotional mistakes. And that only happens when you change how you think. Stop thinking in terms of right and wrong. Start thinking in terms of probabilities. Stop focusing on this trade. Start focusing on the next 100 trades. Stop needing to win. Start committing to execution. Because in trading, the people who win are not the ones who are right the most. They are the ones who think differently. They are the ones who accept uncertainty. They are the ones who stay calm when others panic. They are the ones who trust the process. And if you can do that, if you can truly let go of the need to be right, you won't just win more trades. You'll become the kind of trader who can win consistently,